Looking like a tinfoil hat day here on the channel because there's a new story going around about another potential Nintendo Switch revision. And when I look into this story, I have a lot of feelings about it. On some hands, I think it kind of does make a bit of sense. On other hands, I'm kind of like, what's the point of really doing this right now? So we're going to look at the information that's out there. I've seen a couple other videos talking about it, and I figured, hey, I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber, but I'll talk about this myself. So we have to head over to the wonderful world of X, Twitter, to sort of get our information on this subject. This is coming to us from Nash Weedle, a leaker, industry analyst, whatever you want to call him. He's been right about some things, wrong about other things. You know, pretty much the leaker status quo here. You say enough stuff, something will end up sticking to the wall, and then you take your victory laps. But when what you say doesn't ever come to fruition, you just kind of ignore it. Nash Weedle made a tweet a couple of days ago, I believe this was, back on October 30th, talking about a Nintendo Switch Micro, saying that Nintendo has thought about the Nintendo Switch Micro. A new patent shows a more compact console thanks to a new button layout. The home button and the screenshot button at the top of the console. It would not only be digital since it has a top slot. Now, of course, this is being translated to us from Spanish to English, so could be some stuff mixed up in the translation here. But this is kind of an interesting tweet because within the patent itself, we learn that in order to make the portable game device more compact or to increase the area of display, there is room to improve the button layout of the portable game device. In the view of the above problems, an object of present disclosure is to improve the button arrangement in the portable game device. You could see here that they kind of makes the sides a lot smaller here, and then we have repositioning of buttons such as like the home button, the volume button, all of that sort of stuff with this system. So kind of interesting stuff to look at here, you know, stuff that you could look at it and be like, okay, well, maybe at one point in time, this was indeed an idea. Of course, Nintendo President Furukawa has recently gone on record saying that if they release something via a patent, it's because they're not using the idea. And I do think that that is true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not still basing something off of an idea that you've already had. You know what I'm saying? You could modify something with this patent, make it a little bit different, and then all of a sudden it doesn't go with that patent. It's now a revised model, and then you would get a new patent for that once it releases to the general public. Well, we get a little bit more in depth with this with some updates, because it kind of went from a mindset of, oh, I think Nintendo might do this, to a mindset of, no, Nintendo is going to do this. Now, this tweet is from November 28th, in which Nash Weedle says the following: the existence of a Switch Mini Micro Pocket is almost evident. We have all the parts, 5 different patents. The change position of ZR and Z, L and ZL, ZL, I don't know, maybe you're British and you say Z. I watch a lot of British YouTubers sometime, even though I hate the British, it's because I'm studying them just in case they're trying to dominate and take over the world again. Change to the position of the home and capture buttons, a new screw system, a protective shell, and a new, more compact cooling system. So within all of these pictures here, you could see that they kind of break down the sort of different things. There's like a magnetic case for it to protect the screen. And I guess the idea is that this is something that would fit in your pocket. So before we get to the final slide, I kind of want to tell you guys where I stand on this as far as Nintendo's track record, because when you look at Nintendo's track record, they have done revisions of usually more successful systems. Look at the NES. You had the NES, and then you had the NES top loader, which was a bit smaller than the open mouth NES system, and of course it had a better, you know, it played games better because you would put the cartridges in down instead of into it. The Super Nintendo actually had a Super Nintendo Mini. It was a redesigned Super Nintendo system that was a much smaller system coming in at a budget price. We didn't have anything with the N64 and the GameCube, but with the Wii, once again, we did, because the Wii was very successful. The Wii, of course, had a system with a top loader sort of disc-based thing. Instead of just sticking the disc into a disc drive, there was a button where you would press it open. The Wii Mini, of course, it was a nice little looking system. It's very cheap. Now, the Wii U did not have one of these, but when you look at the Game Boys, You had Game Boy to Game Boy Pocket. You had Game Boy Advance to Game Boy Advance SP to a Game Boy Micro. So it's not really outside of the realm of possibility to think that, hey, maybe Nintendo would do something like this with the Switch, because the Switch has been so successful. And it's something that I feel like if there's going to be some sort of gap with backwards compatibility, or maybe the launch lineup of games isn't like, 10 brand new games that somebody needs to buy, and you feel that it'll be more of a slower launch to the system and you want to roll it out in an appropriate manner, a good way to keep your console sales up and a good way to keep the Switch momentum going even beyond the release of the next system would be to essentially release a revised, smaller system. In our final slide here, we have Nash Weedle kind of breaking down everything that they feel predictions wise about this system. Like I said, it's just predictions, but could the predictions have some sort of merit? I guess time will tell. My Nintendo Switch Mini / Pocket predictions: a release date of 2/16/24, so that's actually pretty soon. I don't know how I feel about that. Reduced pocket size console. Okay, that's what we talked about. A removable protective cover with magnets. That's something that was basically involved in the patent there. That would be like a screen protector when the device is in your pocket, as it is allegedly going to be a lot smaller as a system. Caps different collectible models. I'm guessing different models in different colors, variety of color models. I don't know what caps different collectible models really means. Maybe different shells that are like themed or something. A maximum battery life of 12 hours, accepts cartridges, and is this currency 149E, whatever that means. I did a translation to it into cold US calculated cash, and it comes in at about $160 US. So I would assume that if this is a reality, it would probably be $150. But then you kind of start to pose a question with that system. If it's $150, right? If that's what they're gunning for with the price point, why not just take the Switch Lite? That's already a revised Switch model that already exists, and just knock $50 off the price of that. You're selling that for $200, unless they're just not building any more Nintendo Switch Lites, and this is using some parts of it potentially from it. Like, that's kind of my big holdup on this, is we already do have this sort of revised Nintendo Switch model. And I'm not saying that makes it, completely irrelevant to the situation, because handhelds usually do have quite a few variants. You look at the Game Boys, look at the DS's, the 3DS's, all of them have had multiple variants during different parts of their life cycle. And Nintendo might have feel that, hey, the Switch Lite has already proven its worth. It's already done what it needed to do. Maybe they're going to take that off the market and replace it with something like this that's a little bit cheaper, has a bigger battery. That 12 hours, I don't know how that exactly would work, but maybe they're going to do something like that. It's really all just speculation at this point, but Nash Weedle seems pretty confident in talking about this. Of course, we go back to the patent situation with, hey, these are patents that are available for a reason. Do you believe that? Do you not believe that? It's tough to say, because we had this situation with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where patents were how we were learning about game mechanics from the game, and all of those ended up coming true. So something to think about. I'm not sure I necessarily believe this. It seems kind of weird when you have a Switch Lite out on the marketplace that's essentially doing the same thing. This is just a smaller version of it. But I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Of course, depending on when a Switch 2 launches or whatever, what the new system is going to be, I feel like a lot of that is kind of contingent on what Nintendo does. And if Nintendo goes kind of in a crazy direction, maybe this would make sense. Let me know what you think about it, though, in the comments section down below. And yeah, thank you guys for checking out this video. I don't know where I was going with that. I felt like I had something quirky to say, like down below. I could have gone with the good old Scott Hall. Check it out down there. Down where? Down here. But I wasn't witty enough for that. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below, though. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit that bell notification. Tell your friends, tell your family. RGT's on the road to 500,000 subscribers, and I want to get there before I expire. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of my health scare. Will we have a repeat performance? No, because I'm healthier now. Thank you for asking. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.